My beloved child, listen carefully, for what I am about to say to you is not mere passing counsel, but an urgent call rising from the heart of the one who made you. I know you think you are walking a familiar path in life, laden with work responsibilities and ambitions that seem justified. Yet with each step, you are touching a thin cord. The enemy has stretched out a trap, cleverly concealed beneath the veneer of success recognition and glittering illusions. You do not realize you are being swept away like a slow, unseen current that carries everything before it. You imagine yourself master of the journey, but in truth, those worldly illusions are pulling you far from the true source of life. My child, I see your eyes following the shining things and the promises of satisfaction that ultimately leave a hollow chill in your soul. The world will never give you fullness. It only excites new thirsts and spins you into a futile cycle. The more you seek and rush after them, the more exhausted and disoriented you become. Do you not see that the dreams you pursue are never complete? The things you thought would bring happiness vanish like morning mist. Every time your heart places its trust in something other than me, it breaks once more, leaving wounds only I truly know. I do not condemn you, for I know human weakness and how easily we are seduced by outward splendor. From the beginning, the enemy has used sweet lies to make people doubt my goodness. He has not abandoned that tactic, only his disguise has changed. Now he whispers into your ear what sounds reasonable, that your value lies in achievements, in wealth, in the approving gaze of people. He tells you to strive harder, to climb higher, to meet standards I never set for you. He sows in you the sense of not enough, that no matter what you attain, something is missing. That sense becomes shackles that hold you in weariness, anxiety, and unrest. But hear me, that is not the truth. Your true worth is not in what you do, not in what you possess, nor in the applause of others. Your value is found in me, the one who shaped you wonderfully and fearfully. Before you were born, I knew your name, I chose you, and I called you mine. No other lie can alter that truth. Even if the world rejects you, or people forget you, I see you and love you with an unfading love. As I spoke through the prophet Isaiah, you are precious, honored in my sight, and I love you, Isaiah 4:3-4. You belong to me, and nothing can change that. Do you know the enemy's aim is not merely to distract you, but to destroy your soul? He does more than make you weary. He seeks to steal the true life within you. He sets before you a road that looks smooth and safe, but beneath it lies a chasm of emptiness and ruin. He exploits every weak point, every fear, every secret longing to bind you. He offers fleeting pleasures and quick gains in exchange for long-term bondage to despair. He wants you so busy that you have no time to seek me, so that the clamor of life drowns the gentle yet powerful voice of my spirit. He plants doubts about my love and presence, so you will think I have abandoned you. He can even turn those close to you into unwitting instruments, whose words and actions wound, confuse, and shake your faith. Yet even now I am here speaking to you. I am not silent as you once supposed. My voice still echoes, and you are hearing it in this very moment. I want you to open your eyes to the danger around you and your ears to the voice that will lead you out of every snare. Do not think you must confront this alone. I have given you my word, your lamp for the feet and light for the path. Psalm 119:105. I have given you my Spirit who dwells within you to teach and remind you of every truth. I have given you my dearly beloved Son who died and triumphed over the world, and now intercedes for you without ceasing. You are not abandoned or hopeless. I am with you at every moment. My child, I see the burdens you carry. I know the long nights when doubt and fear keep you awake, the silent tears you shed when you do not know what to do. I see the wounds carved by others and the scars you bear from your own wrong choices. I know that pain weighs heavily upon you, but remember, I never leave you alone in it. It is precisely in those broken places that I am preparing you for something greater. Through the cracks my light can shine in. When you are weak, my strength is shown most clearly. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-1:0. You need not hide your frailty, for I transform weakness into instruments that glorify me. Know also that the choice belongs to you. I do not coerce, I invite. I do not drag you along a path I have prepared, but extend my arms and wait for you to come willingly. Choose to trust me, to obey me, to turn away from distractions, temptations, and deceit. Choose to give me your whole heart so I may lead you into true freedom, freedom from fear, from sin, from the unseen chains that bind you. Choose to hunger after righteousness, to walk in truth, and to seek me above all else. This way will not always be easy, but it leads to abundant life, enduring joy, peace beyond human understanding, and the wholeness no worldly thing can provide. It leads you to me, the origin and the goal of your soul. I do not call you into darkness, but into light. I do not summon you to be enslaved by the endless demands of the world, but to live free in my love. I do not intend for you to wander in uncertainty, but to walk in the assurance of my promises. I am your refuge and strength, ever ready to help in times of trouble. When you are exhausted, I will lift you. When you are lost, I will guide you. When you despair, I will rekindle hope. You only need to return and seek me, and you will find that I have never left nor forsaken you. As I have promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 1:3-5. So lift up your head and open your heart. See that what you have been chasing are illusions, and heed this gentle yet insistent call. I do not summon you to condemn, but to rescue. I do not expose your weakness to shame you, but to heal you. I do not reveal snares to frighten you, but to show you how to avoid them and walk in victory. I am your Father, and my love for you is everlasting. You may put your trust in me, for I never fail. You may rest in my arms, for I never let go. Walk with me. I go before you, beside you, and behind you to guard you. Choose today to come home. Do not wait until everything is perfect, for such a time will never arrive. Do not wait until you feel strong, for true strength comes from me, not from yourself. Turn back the moment you hear this call, for it is your opportunity to escape the trap around you. Choose me and you will experience life flowing again, the restoration of joy and peace reigning in your heart. Choose me and you will walk a path that leads to light, freedom, and an unfailing love. My beloved child, I want you to know that the snares along your way are not always obvious. Some are woven so subtly that human eyes cannot easily detect them because they wear the garments of love, of concern, or even of wisdom. Behind sweet words and seemingly harmless acts, the enemy hides he who came to steal, kill, and destroy. John 1:0-1:0. He is the liar from the beginning, and he uses every tactic to draw you away from me. Open your eyes, for sometimes the most dangerous traps are set by those you trust most. I do not say this to make you fearful or suspicious of everyone around you, but to help you understand the enemy's cunning. He does not only employ overt evil, he can turn good things into stumbling blocks. He may use family, friends, or those you love, people unintentionally swayed by his whispers to sow doubt in your heart. A well-meant remark like, "That path is too hard. Choose an easier one," or "I only want you to be safe." Don't risk it, may hide an intent to draw you away from the plan I have prepared for you. Sometimes they will say your faith is mere fantasy, your calling a delusion. Unwittingly, they plant seeds of doubt that grow into thorny bushes, choking your trust in me. Remember, these snares are not aimed at exposing the speaker, but at entrapping you. The enemy wants to use words to break the conviction you have in me, to sow fear and insecurity. If you allow that seed of doubt to take root, it will grow into brambles that choke your faith. He knows well that once you lose assurance, you will more readily turn to the world for comfort, a place that can never provide lasting security. You have been given a mighty weapon, my word. It is the standard by which you can test everything. Not every word you hear comes from me. Not every counsel aligns with my truth. Bring everything back to my word. If something contradicts my truth, leads you away from me, or causes you to doubt my love and promises it is not from me and must be rejected. As Paul advised, test everything. Hold fast to what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:2. 1. This is the safeguard that protects you from disguised snares. Do not be afraid of the enemy's craftiness, for he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. My power rises above every scheme, and my light cannot be overcome by any darkness. If you rely on me and walk in my ways, no trap will ultimately destroy you, but you must remain vigilant. Keep your soul alert, and do not let the enemy's sweet lies lull you to sleep. Learn to discern my voice amid the world's noise. I come in gentle stillness, not with clamor or coercion like a whispering breeze. Remember Elijah's encounter, when God came not in wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 1:9-1-2. My voice always carries peace. It draws you closer to the truth and kindles faith rather than sowing fear. Learn to discern that difference. My beloved child, above all else, guard your heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life. Proverbs 4:2-3. The enemy knows that if he can corrupt your heart, he can pull down your whole life. He will use wounding words, acts of betrayal, to sow bitterness, resentment, and anger in you. If you hold on to these things too long, they become invisible chains binding you in darkness. But I call you to forgive, not because those who hurt you deserve it, but because you need to be free. Forgiveness is not denying the pain, but placing it into my hands for healing. When you forgive, chains fall off, and you step out of the snare the enemy designed to imprison you. When you choose love over hatred, you become my reflection, the one who loved even when betrayed, who forgave even when nailed to the cross. I know forgiveness is not easy. I know letting go of anger, bitterness, and pain feels beyond human strength, but I do not call you to do it alone. My Spirit dwells within you, and He will give you the strength to do what seems impossible. Bring me your wounds, and I will anoint them with healing oil. Bring me your grievances, and I will turn them into testimonies of transformation. Bring me your tears, and I will turn them into seeds sown in the field of hope. And you will see what was once pain will become a testimony. What was once brokenness will become an instrument to lift others who are hurting. Remain deeply rooted in me. The enemy will try in every way to pull you away through the worries of life, through fleeting pleasures, through the heavy weight of fear. He wants you cut off from the source, so you wither away. But if you stay rooted in me, you will stand firm like a tree planted by streams of water that never withers. Psalm 1:3. Abide in my presence. Let my words soak into your mind and transform your heart. Speak with me in the smallest details of life, and I will guide you. Worship me, for where my presence is, darkness has no place. When you remain in me, you will not be shaken by the storm, and you will not fall into the snares. I know this battle is not easy. I know the traps are subtle and deadly. But remember, I have given you my Spirit, the one who helps you overcome every scheme, the one who reminds you of the truth, the one who strengthens your faith. You are not fighting alone. I fight for you. I have overcome the world, and through me you also have victory. Remember, you are not a victim of plots. You are more than a conqueror. You were not made to collapse, but to stand firm. You were not created to be a slave to fear, but to live in the freedom of my love. So do not fear the hidden snares. Do not let them discourage or shake you. Stand firm in faith, hold fast the sword of my word, and walk in the light of truth. Choose to trust my voice above all others. Choose to fix your eyes on me rather than the surrounding darkness. Choose love instead of hate, forgiveness instead of bitterness, hope instead of despair. When you do this, you are not only set free, you become an instrument of freedom for many others. The enemy trembles when he sees you rise in faith, for he knows one person who has tasted victory in me can lead many souls out of darkness. Remember, I am always with you. I see every trap, and I am leading you through. I hear every lie, and I am speaking the truth to shatter them. I see every wound, and I am healing with my everlasting love. Trust in me, walk under my covering, and you will never have to fear the schemes of the enemy again. Be strong and courageous, for I am your God, and I will never leave you nor forsake you. My beloved child, the enemy never ceases to lay snares, but I have already provided the way of escape. I do not leave you alone on the battlefield. I never hand you over to the enemy to do as he pleases. From the beginning, I destined victory for you through Christ himself. My Son gave his very life, not only that you may be forgiven, but that you may be free, restored, and live in the fullness the world can never give. He overcame the world, defeated death, and even now intercedes for you that your faith may not fail. Therefore you need not fear the snares, for the one who is in you is greater than all the enemy's schemes. Remember, this prayer is the sharp weapon I place in your hands. Prayer is not mere ritual, not just whispered words in the night, but a force that can shake heaven and earth. When you pray, you invite me into your circumstances. When you cry out, you open the door for my power to move in ways beyond your understanding. Never underestimate the power of a sincere prayer. Even if it is simple, even if it is only silent tears, I hear and answer. As the psalmist said, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 3:4-1-8. I will never ignore your cry. My child, you often think prayer is only to change circumstances. But truly, prayer first changes you. It turns anxiety into peace, fear into trust, bitterness into forgiveness. It is like water washing away the dust clinging to your soul, leaving you light and free. From that transformation, circumstances also shift, for when your heart aligns with my will, I can reveal my power most fully. Pray without ceasing, not because I fail to hear the first time, but because persistence keeps you clinging to me. Pray for discernment, for protection, for deliverance. Pray for your loved ones, for those bound by the enemy, that their eyes may be open to truth. And pray for yourself, that you may be strong in faith and stand firm against every snare. Know this, the snares are not proof of your weakness, but of the enemy's desperation. He knows you belong to me, loved, chosen, called. He knows you carry a purpose and destiny he cannot touch. That is why he tries everything to hinder you, to discourage you, to sow doubt, so you will not move forward. But remember, no scheme can destroy my plan for you. No snare can separate you from my love. As Paul wrote, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor rulers, neither things present nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord." Romans 8:3, 8:39. That love is your eternal guarantee. I do not call you into an easy road free from trials and wounds. The path I lead always contains unexpected turns, steep climbs, and valleys of shadow. But it is there you will know my presence most deeply. In the wilderness you will learn that only I can give bread from heaven and water from the rock. In the valley of the shadow of death, you will feel my rod and staff comforting you. In the fire you will see me standing with you, as I stood with the 3 friends of Daniel in the furnace. You are never alone, child, and it is this companionship that makes you strong. So you need not live in fear. Rise and walk as one who is victorious. Trust in me, and you will see my power at work in your life. Lift your head, for you are not a victim, but a child under my protection. Let your heart be filled with confidence that I am your refuge, your fortress, your shield in every trial. Do not let past lies shape your future. Do not let old wounds define who you are. Give them to me, and I will weave them into a new tapestry of glory. What you once saw as failure will become a stepping stone for triumph. What you thought was loss will become a fountain of hope for many. The tears you shed in the night I will turn into seeds for a harvest of life. Remember, the snares are not only for you, but for those you love. The enemy rejoices when families fracture, when friendships break, when communities divide. He knows division weakens faith, and from there he can drag many away. But I have given you power to reverse it. You can intercede for those near you. You can stand in the gap pleading for their deliverance. You can show unconditional love, total forgiveness, and reveal my grace. You can be the vessel that brings them back, helps them see truth and taste freedom. Never underestimate the power of love and prayer, born from faith. When you choose trust, when you place your faith in me, you will see me act clearly. You will see my hand upholding my presence, covering doors opening where walls once blocked. I will do what you did not expect. I will turn evil into good. I will even use failures to train you. Be bold to step forward, for I go ahead of you. Be strong, for I walk beside you. Rest secure, for I guard behind you. I will never leave you nor let you go. My beloved child, I know how often your heart trembles before change. You want to cling to what is familiar, even if it no longer gives life. You fear what you do not know, fear losing what feels safe, fear stepping into ground where you cannot control. But understand this, to enter what I have prepared, you must be willing to leave what is old. Believe that when I close a door, it is not an ending, but the beginning of a greater one, a doorway into a deeper journey. As I declared in Isaiah 4:3-1-8-19, do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. See, I am always the God of renewal. I do not leave you trapped in the past, but I call you into a new reality where grace and life overflow. Think of Abraham when I called him to leave his homeland, his father's house, and go to a land he had never known. He had no map, no human guarantee, only the promise I had given. Yet he stepped out, and from that obedience I raised up a nation as numerous as the stars of heaven and the sand on the seashore. Had he stayed in the place of familiarity, he would never have witnessed the fullness of my faithfulness revealed. So it is with you, my beloved. You cannot fully experience the new if you cling tightly to the old. You cannot receive fresh blessings unless you open your hand and release what is past. And to do this, you will need courage, the courage to believe that I am greater than fear, the courage to step forward even when you cannot see the entire road, and the courage to entrust your destiny into the goodness of my will. I know that failures, wounds, and losses have made you hesitant to change. You fear that if you open your heart again, you will be hurt again. You fear that if you take a step, you will stumble once more. You fear that if you let go, you will lose everything. But my child, those are only the voices of the past and of the enemy. I have not destined you to live in fear, but in love and trust. I have given you my Spirit, not to make you a slave to fear, but so that you may cry out, Abba, Father, in freedom. Romans 8:1-5. Each time fear rises within you, remember that I am beside you. Let fear become the very moment you grip my hand tighter. It is in the trembling that I reveal my strength. It is in your weakness that I add to your strength, so you may rise, walk, and never turn back. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to walk forward despite fear, because you trust me. Look back at Israel when they stood before the Red Sea. Behind them, Pharaoh's army pursued. Before them, the sea stretched vast and deep. They trembled, panicked, and cried out, but I made a way where there seemed to be no way. The waters parted, and they crossed on dry ground. Do you see? Courage is not having a ready solution, but daring to advance even when the way is unseen. As you move, I will open the path. As you step forward, I will perform wonders. But if you remain paralyzed in fear, you will miss the miracle I have already prepared. I also know how easily the past pulls you back. Memories, regrets, and wounds echo within you, making it hard to go on. But my child, the past has no power over you unless you grant it. You cannot change what has been, but you can choose to live today in the new grace I pour out. I call you to lay down those burdens. Place your mistakes into my hands, and I will cleanse them with the blood of my Son. Place your wounds into my hands, and I will bind and heal them. Place your regrets into my hands, and I will turn them into testimonies of redeeming grace. The past may remind you, but it cannot imprison you unless you allow it. I want you to walk with light steps, free from chains that have long been broken. Picture yourself as a soldier in battle. If you keep looking back, you will stumble. If you remain afraid of the enemy, you cannot advance. But if you fix your eyes on me, the commander, the one who goes before you, the one who fights for you, you will march with confidence. My child, this battle is not yours but mine. You need only stand firm, clothe yourself with the armor of the Spirit, and trust in me. I will strike down the enemy. I will extinguish every flaming arrow of the evil one. I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your foes. Psalm 2:3-5. All you need to do is walk forward without hesitation, without turning back, for I have already ordained victory for you. I know every tear you have shed, every sleepless night, every time you have collapsed in exhaustion. I do not overlook them. On the contrary, I turn them into lessons, into strength, into foundations for the new. Just as gold must pass through fire to become pure, you too must endure trials to grow steadfast. Just as a seed must fall and die to bring forth new life, you too must let go to receive what is new. I waste nothing in your life. Every loss, every wound, every misstep, all are woven into my preparation to bring you into a new season where you will live in fullness. My beloved child, I want you to understand that the blessings I give you were never meant for you alone. Every miracle you receive, every healing you experience, every time you are rescued from darkness, within each of these lies a purpose beyond yourself. I do not pour out grace so that you would shut yourself away and keep it for your own, but that you may become a flowing stream carrying life to others. Remember what I declared through the prophet Jeremiah: I will make you into a spring of living water that never ceases to flow. You were not made to be a stagnant pool, but a stream continually pouring forth, refreshing the parched fields, watering the thirsty ground. It is in giving that the blessing within you finds its fullness. Consider the image of the Sunday. It does not keep its light for itself, but shines so that all things may be illuminated and warmed. If the sun were to withhold its light, the world would fall into darkness and cold. In the same way, I have placed you to be the light of the world. Matthew 5:1-4. Light is not hidden under a bowl, but placed on a stand to shine for all in the house. As you live as light, you not only reveal my glory to others, but help them find the path in their darkness. You are also the salt of the earth, and salt must retain its flavor to be useful. If salt loses its savor, it is thrown out. Within you is that very saltiness, the flavor of grace, the power to hold back decay, the encouragement for weary souls. I bless you not to make you a vessel of storage, but an instrument of outpouring for others. My child, I know there are moments when you feel you have nothing to give. You feel weak, inadequate, unprepared. But that is precisely what makes you fit for my use. For my grace is made perfect in weakness, 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. You do not need to wait until you are flawless, for grace does not demand perfection. You need only to be willing, and I will use even your scars as testimonies of healing. I will use your failures as lessons for others. I will use your weakness to display my immeasurable strength. Remember, when Paul and Silas were imprisoned, they still lifted songs of praise, and their worship shook the very foundations of the prison, flinging wide the doors and breaking chains, not only for themselves, but for all the other prisoners. Acts 1:6-5-26. The blessings you receive were never confined to you alone. They carry the power to set entire communities free. My beloved child, I have called you to be a river, not a stagnant pond. A river is always moving, and in that movement it brings life wherever it flows. If it stops, it will rot and lose its vitality. Likewise, if you only receive and never give, your soul will grow heavy, dry, and tired. On the contrary, when you give, you will find your blessings multiplied many times over. When you lift others up, you yourself are lifted. When you share hope, your faith deepens. When you give love, your heart expands. You were made to live in continual giving and receiving like the rhythm of breath. Inhale to receive life, exhale to give life. The more you hold, the more you choke. The more you give, the more alive you become. Look around, my child. The world is full of people thirsty for a drop from the spring of life. They may laugh outwardly, but inside they wither, despairing and weary. Some are bound by sin, some crushed by disappointment, some wandering in pain unseen by others. I call you not only to see your own pain, but to recognize theirs. When you open your heart, the light within you will become hope for them. When you share your testimony, your story will awaken faith in sleeping hearts. When you pray for others, the living water will flow through you to refresh their souls. Remember, I have given to you, not for you to fill yourself, but for you to be an instrument that transmits life. I know that sharing is not always easy. Sometimes you fear rejection, fear ridicule, fear that others will not listen. But remember, the outcome does not belong to you, but to me. You need only sow the seed. I will cause it to grow. You need only be faithful. I will use that faithfulness to bring a harvest. Think of the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. In human hands it is a meager meal, but in mine it becomes a feast for 5,000, with 12 baskets left over. Do you see, I do not need you to have much. I only need you to give what you have. When you place it in my hands, I will multiply it beyond your imagination. My beloved, I am inviting you to live as a witness of grace, not a silent witness, but a living one, so that anyone who looks at you will see that I have worked in your life. Not by pompous words, but by real change in how you live, in your forgiveness, in your hope, in your love. People do not need to see a perfect person. They need to see someone who has fallen many times and yet rises each time stronger because of me. They need to see that my grace turns brokenness into testimony, failure into hope, darkness into light. It is that authenticity that will touch hearts more than any argument ever could. Be bold and step out. Do not remain silent when I have placed words in your mouth. Do not hide the light when I have lit the lamp within you. Do not hoard the blessings I have lavished upon you. Let love, grace, and life in you overflow like a river. And as you do, you will find yourself filled more and more. I will continually add to you, so that you have enough not only for yourself but for those around you. This is how I operate giving, so that you may receive more overflowing, so you never run dry. My child, remember that true blessing is not in what you keep, but in what you give. True life is not accumulation, but sharing. True joy does not come from being served, but from serving others. True satisfaction does not arise from applause, but from being a source of life for those in need. That is why I give to you, to make you a conduit, so that life from me flows through you to many. Step into that calling, my beloved, and you will experience a joy beyond all understanding. My beloved child, all that I have done in your life, from rescue to healing, from blessing to transformation, was never meant merely for your quiet contentment. All of it is preparation for something greater, to live fully in the new call I have ordained for you. This is not a fleeting invitation for a season. It is an eternal partnership in which you walk with me in the grand purposes of the kingdom. You are no longer merely one who seeks safety. You are called to be a missionary, a witness, an instrument to reveal my glory to the world. That call does not merely define who you are, it tells you what you were made to do. Many live their whole lives chasing the fleeting fame, wealth, status, recognition. In the end, all of these vanish like morning mist. You were not made to chase such things. You were made to reflect me, to cooperate in my eternal plan, to be part of a picture far larger than your own life. I have placed gifts, abilities, and experiences within you, not for them to lie dormant, but to be offered and used for the highest purpose. When you live in your calling, you enter true fullness, because you live according to what I ordained. Standing outside your calling, you may achieve much in the eyes of the world, yet feel an inner emptiness. Only in my will you find real meaning. Consider Peter, who once denied his Lord in weakness and fear. Yet after restoration, he rose to preach boldly in public squares. He ceased to be a deserter and became a pioneer for the early church. His power did not come from his own courage, but from his embracing of the new calling I had given him. He lived fully in that calling, and his life inspired countless generations. So it is with you. Do not let the past bind you. Do not let failure hinder you. Let them become testimonies of transformation and walk in the calling I have chosen for you. In doing so, you will not only change your own life, but touch many souls around you. I know your concerns. What is my calling? What must I do? Am I enough? My child, calling is first of all not about the work you perform, but about the fellowship you have with me. I call you to live in communion. Love me with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. From that flows everything you do, big or small, becoming an expression of calling. I will also lead you into specific assignments, into tasks greater than yourself, where you will see yourself used to bringing life and light to many. Trust that I will reveal these gradually. The calling becomes clear as you are faithful in the small things first. Living in the new calling is not always easy. It requires sacrifice, renunciation, and placing my will above your own. You will at times be misunderstood, rejected, opposed. You may feel lonely because you walk a different path from the crowd. But remember, you never walk alone. I am with you, I empower you, and I prepare the way before you. The joy you receive in obedience will outweigh every hardship. This is the joy Paul spoke of when he said he counted everything as loss compared to the surpassing worth of knowing Christ. Philippians 3:8. He left everything to live fully in his calling, and that changed the world. When you live in your calling, you sow seeds for those who come after you. You make a path for your children, your community, and the church to follow. You write a story not merely of yourself, but of a lineage. Remember Abraham, his obedience brought blessing not only to him, but to countless peoples. So your calling carries influence far beyond what your eyes can see. By your faithfulness, I will overflow blessing to an entire generation. So do not live merely to get by. Do not live to survive from day to day. Live fully in the new calling. Offer your whole heart, your gifts, your wounds and weaknesses. Let me use all of them to do miracles. Remember, I did not choose you because you are perfect, but because I love you and desire to display my glory through you. Step out in strength. Do not be afraid. Do not hesitate. For I have appointed you a path, a purpose, and a destiny no one can take away. Live for that, and you will experience joy that never fades, satisfaction that never runs dry, and eternal glory with me. My beloved child, stop and look back on the journey you have traveled. I know there were times you thought it was all over, that those events marked the end of your life. You wept in the darkness and asked why I allowed seasons that seemed unbearable. But my child, I want you to engrave this truth upon your heart: no step in your journey is meaningless. Not one tear falls unseen by me. Not one cry goes unheard. Every failure, every loss, every long season of waiting is part of my refining work. I waste nothing in your life. Everything I allow is meant to prepare you for a new season of glory. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned by false accusation. To human eyes, his life seemed a string of injustice and defeat. Yet do you not see that through those very hardships, I prepared him to become the ruler of Egypt, the instrument to save a nation from famine? Had there been no betrayal, there would have been no deliverance. Had there been no prison, there would have been no throne. Joseph recognized this and declared, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. So it is with you. Those things you once considered disasters may be the very means I use to bring you into your calling. I turn evil into good, sorrow into opportunity to reveal my glory. You once thought that your breaking was a sign that I had withdrawn, but my child, it is precisely in your breaking that my light can shine through. You once thought that your loneliness was abandonment, yet it is when you are alone that my voice rings clearest. You once believed that lack proved I did not care, but in those very moments I pour out abundance from my source. As Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-10. You do not need to hide your frailty, for I turn fragility into an instrument for displaying my power. No trial is meaningless. Each becomes a brick in the great work I am building in your life. Look at Job, a man who lost everything: possessions, children, health. He sat in ashes, scorned by his friends, urged by his wife to abandon his faith. Yet he cried out, "Though he slayed me, yet will I hope in him." Job 1:3-5. In the end I restored him twofold. Do you see, trials are not the end, but the beginning of greater restoration. I allow you to pass through fire not to consume you, but to refine you like pure gold. You may feel the heat, but that is the process that removes dross, so you become purer, brighter, and more valuable. When you see yourself being refined, remember that I, the refiner, never take my eyes off the fire. I know exactly when to hold and when to remove, so you are perfected without being destroyed. My child, the tears you have shed become seeds in the field of hope. The failures you endured become lessons for others. The scars you carry become testimony that I am the healer. You may think all of this exists only to make you suffer, but I transform everything to deepen you, to mature and strengthen you. See, a great tree cannot put down deep roots without weathering storms. A person cannot grow in faith without passing through trials. Affliction makes you steady. Loss teaches you gratitude. Suffering carves faith deeply. And all of these I use to prepare you for the fullness I have ordained. I know you still ask, why must I endure so much? Why not a smoother path? My child, if I gave you a level road, you would never learn to depend on me. If I handed everything to you immediately, you would never know the sweetness of waiting in hope. If I let you walk without opposition, you would never discover the hidden strength that the Spirit supplies. I do not create trials to punish you, but to cause you to grow. Like a father teaching a child to walk, I stand near, extending my hand, so you may stumble and rise again, always within my safe reach. Engrave this on your heart: no failure is wasted, no tear is in vain, no waiting is meaningless. All are part of a sacred training process. I am molding you, disciplining you, preparing you for greater things than you imagine. You see only scattered fragments now, but I see the whole picture. You think you are wandering, but you are exactly where I want you to learn what is necessary. One day when you look back, you will see every dot, every broken piece, every tear stitched together into a golden thread composing a glorious portrait of my grace and power. So be at peace. Do not let pain embitter you. Let it deepen you. Do not let failure discourage you. Let it teach you to rise stronger. Do not let waiting drive you to despair. Let it cultivate patience. I am still at work even when you cannot see. I am still writing the story even when the page seems blank. I am still guiding you even when you feel lost. You are not abandoned. On the contrary, you are being trained for a great destiny. You will enter a new season of blessing, and then you will realize every hard step, however painful, prepared you for where I have set your feet. Beloved, I know your hesitation is not because you do not love me, but because you are afraid. You fear taking a step that will fail. You fear making the wrong choice. You fear paying too high a price. You stand at the threshold, yet hesitate, for many voices echo within you, the past recounting previous breaks, the world pressuring you to calculate, and the enemy sowing doubt about my goodness. But I want you to know that it is precisely in your hesitation that you miss the chance to witness a miracle. Faith is not having all the answers before you move. Faith is stepping even when the outcome is unknown. Faith is a bridge built across the void. It dares you to leave the familiar shore and trust that I will uphold every step. Remember Abraham, the father of faith. When I called him to leave his homeland, he did not know his destination. He had only a promise that I would make him the ancestor of countless people. He may have hesitated and asked 1,000 questions. Where will I go? Who will go with me? Will I be enough? But instead of waiting for full clarity, he stepped out in obedience. From that step I began a nation, a covenant, a plan of salvation for all mankind. Do you see, if Abraham had delayed, he would never have experienced my faithfulness. Action taken in faith opened the way for the miraculous. Remember Peter, when he stepped out of the boat to walk on the water. At first he dared to place his foot on the waves and the sea became firm beneath him. But when his eyes left me and he focused on the wind and waves, he began to sink. Do you see, faith does not mean the storm disappears. It means your gaze stays fixed on me amid the storm. When he cried out, "Lord, save me," I reached out and took his hand. Do not fear trembling. Do not think faith requires perfection. Just dare to step, and I will hold you. Hesitation keeps you in the boat. Faith leads you to where miracles happen. Consider Israel as Jordan. The river flowed swiftly and seemed impossible to cross. But when the priests placed their feet in the water, the river stopped and the people crossed on dry ground. Do you see? The water only parted when they stepped in, not before. If they had waited until the river stood still, they would have remained at the shore forever. That is the power of faith. It acts before sight, daring to move before everything is clear. And when you do this, I reveal my power. I know hesitation often stems from fear of failure. You worry that if you step and fall, you will be shamed or scorned. But my child, I do not look at you with reproach when you fall. I look as if a father watches a toddler. Learning to walk falling is not failure, but evidence you are learning. Failure does not define you. It teaches you the road to maturity. When you dare and yet stumble, you learn to stand steadier. When you attempt, you discover my supporting hand. You need not fear the fall, for I am there to lift you. Hesitation also comes from comparison. You see others moving faster, achieving more, appearing stronger, and you think yourself insufficient. Remember, I do not call you to measure yourself against anyone else, but to walk the path I have laid uniquely for you. Each calling is distinct. If you wait until you measure up to others, you will never move. I do not require you to be like them. I call you to faithfulness in the part I have entrusted to you. Believe you are enough because I supply what you lack. Remember my promise, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. I also know you hesitate because you cannot see the whole picture. You want every detail before you step, every assurance before you commit. But my child, faith is not seeing all but trusting the one who holds all. If I showed you everything, there would be no need for faith. I want you to walk step by step, hand in mind, so each day you learn to trust. Do not wait for a complete map. Let me lead you. I am the good shepherd. I know the path. I see the pitfalls. I prepare green pastures. You simply need to follow my voice. Therefore, overcome your hesitation. Dare to step even if your heart trembles. Dare to act, though answers are incomplete. Dare to trust, though circumstances are dark. Your faith is the key that opens the door to miracles. The more you hesitate, the more opportunities slip away. But when you are bold, I will reveal my power. You will see seas part, waves stand still, rivers dry up, and what seemed impossible become possible. I do not require your strength, only your trust. I do not choose you for perfection, but because my grace is sufficient. You need only trust and move. Leave the rest to me. My child, do not let hesitation imprison you in a loop of fear. Let faith set you free into a new journey. When you dare to step forward, you will see me at work. When you dare to trust, you will see promises become reality. When you dare to leave your comfort zone, you will feel my hands uphold you. And then you will understand that the power of faith does not rest in you, but in the one in whom you put your trust. Step forth, child, for I am waiting for you just ahead. My beloved child, I want you to learn an important secret. Be watchful and sensitive to the signs I give. The world is noisy, full of competing voices and rushing streams of information that crowd your mind. If you do not learn to keep your heart alert, you will easily be led astray. Those noises never cease pouring into your ears, the anxieties of life, the seductions of instant pleasure, the whispers of doubt that breed unease in your heart. Yet amid it all, my voice still calls gentle, patient, and full of authority. You must learn to discern, to recognize which is my voice, which is the enemy's deception, and which is merely the meaningless clamor of the world. Remember Elijah, my prophet, who fled in fear. He expected me to reveal myself in the wind, in an earthquake, or in fire, but I was not in those. In the end, Elijah heard a still small voice and recognized my presence. As a child, I often came in gentleness, not flashy, not loud. If you only seek the great and spectacular, you will miss my presence in simple moments. An encouragement from a friend, an unexpected opportunity, a small door opening, these may all be the signs I send. Being watchful is seeing me in what seems ordinary. Signs are not always marvelous spectacles that astonish you. Sometimes a sign is a sense of peace in the middle of a storm. Sometimes it is a gentle admonition in your spirit when you are about to take a wrong step. Sometimes it is a sudden urge to pray for someone. Do not belittle small things, for in their smallness I teach and guide you. The watchful person notices every detail and does not let anything pass without weighing it in the light of my word. The watchful person knows how to stop, to listen, and to discern. The enemy also sows his signs through confusion, through lies, through doors that appear to be opportunities but are traps. If you are not watchful, you will easily be deceived. That is why I call you to test everything by my word. If a sign draws you closer to me, fills you with faith, love, and peace, then it is from me. But if it brings fear, causes you to doubt my love, or pulls you away from truth, then it is not from me. To be watchful is not to be hasty, nor is it to remain paralyzed by hesitation. It is to discern the moment I am moving, and to be ready to respond when you hear my call. Jesus said to his disciples in Gethsemane, "Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation." Mark 1:4-8. He knew the weakness of the flesh, and that men could fall asleep while the enemy waited. Likewise, if you do not stay alert, you will be swept away by life's busyness, and when trials come, you will not stand firm. But if you keep a vigilant heart and cultivate a life of prayer, you will be sensitive to when the enemy approaches, when I open a new door, and when you must stop and listen. Watchfulness does not only help you avoid traps, it also helps you perceive the opportunities I give. Often blessings lie right before you, but because you are absorbed in worry, you do not recognize them. Often the answer to your prayer has already arrived, and because your mind is cluttered, you walk past it without noticing. Often I want to use you to lift another person up, but because your heart lacks sensitivity, you miss the chance. To be watchful is to keep your spirit open, so I can use you anytime, anywhere. Practice the habit of pausing and asking, Lord, what are you doing in this situation? What do you want me to learn from this? How do you want me to respond? That simple question will steady your heart and prevent you from being swept along. Learn to listen not only with your ears but with your heart. Learn to see not only with your eyes but through the light of the Holy Spirit. As you practice listening and seeing with spiritual eyes, you will discover that I speak every day and act every hour. Watchfulness is knowing the season you are in. There are times for sowing and times for reaping, times for waiting and times for advancing. If you are not sensitive, you will act out of season. You may sow when I am calling you to harvest, or harvest before the appointed time. But if you listen and move in my timing, you will never be out of step. I govern the times, I appoint the seasons, and I lead you at the right moment. As it is written, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. The watchful person walks in at my appointed time. My child, I know watchfulness requires discipline. It requires that you spend time in my presence so your soul is not drowned by noise. It requires that you be still, that you stop, and that you set priorities. But the reward is great. You will not be deceived, you will not go astray, and you will walk with assurance. You will perceive my signs more clearly. You will hear my voice resonate in your heart, and you will experience specific guidance. You will become discerning, wise, and steadfast in chaotic times. Do not let noise drown out my voice. Do not allow lies to smother the truth. Do not let a busy mind cause you to miss small but precious signs. Keep your heart sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Let the light of my word illuminate every path, and you will see that I am never silent. I am always speaking, always acting, always guiding. As long as you are watchful, you will recognize my hand upon your life each day. My beloved child, prayer is not merely a habit or a religious ritual. It is the spiritual breath of the soul. Just as the body cannot live without air, your soul will wither without prayer. When you pray, you do not only speak to me, you open your heart to receive life from me. Every sincere plea, every silent groan, even the quiet tears, these become a channel that links you to me, the giver of life and source of all blessing. Prayer is the bridge from your heart to heaven, the conduit through which my blessings flow. Many treat prayer as a last resort, but it ought to be the first breath. When you begin the day with prayer, you place that day in my hands. When you end the day with a whispered word to me, you allow your heart to rest in peace. And when you pray in the midst of your steps, in the midst of work, in brief moments throughout the day, you continually remind yourself that I am with you every second. Look to Hannah, the barren woman who brought her bitter grief before me. She prayed with silent lips and was heard. I gave her a son, Samuel, who became a great prophet. Do you see then that a sincere prayer can change a destiny, not only for one person but for a nation? This is the power I grant to those who kneel and give their hearts to me. Consider Elijah a man as we are. James 5:1-7. He prayed and heaven was shut for 3 years and 6 months. He prayed again and rain returned, bringing life to the land. Do you see that a praying person in faith can move the seasons and alter history? Prayer is not weakness. It is dynamic power that shakes heaven. Never underestimate your prayers, for before me no word is overlooked. Even my only son Jesus frequently prayed. He sought solitude and spent whole nights in prayer before great decisions. He prayed for his disciples, for the people, and ultimately for the world. In Gethsemane, he prayed until sweat fell like drops of blood. If he, perfect and full of power, valued prayer so highly, how much more should you not neglect it? Prayer is how you remain in my strength and alignment with my will. I know sometimes you grow weary when prayers seem unanswered. You think I am silent and that your words go unheard. But know this, I always hear, and I always respond according to my manner and my timing. Sometimes I answer immediately, so you know my power. Sometimes I delay cultivating patience in you. Sometimes I decline a request in order to give you something better than you imagined. Prayer does not change me so much as it changes you, aligning your heart with mine, and when your will joins mine, blessings flow. Prayer is also a potent weapon against the devil. When you pray, you erect spiritual defenses around your life and those you love. When you intercede, you open a pathway for my grace to touch dry hearts. When you pray, darkness is driven back, chains are broken, and freedom is released. The enemy trembles most when you kneel, for he knows that through prayer you connect directly to the unassailable source of power. My child, do not confine prayer to certain hours. I call you to live in a spirit of continual prayer. You can talk to me at any moment, walking on the road, working, or in brief exchanges. Prayer need not be long or ornate. What matters is the sincerity of the heart. A simple word, "Lord, be with me," is enough to stir heaven. It is this continual communion that keeps your soul anchored and sensitive to the Spirit's leading. Prayer is the key to the treasury of blessings I have prepared for you. I do not withhold to make life hard. Rather, I want you to learn to seek, to knock, to ask persistently. As promised, ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. John 1:6-2-4. Prayer is not desperate begging. It is an exercise of faith. Each time you pray, you declare that you believe I am the source of every good gift. And I promise those who seek will find, those who knock the door will be opened. Do not make prayer your last resort. Let it be your first. Do not pray only in desperation, but pray so every day is lived in strength. Do not let the enemy steal your prayer time with busyness or fatigue, for in prayer you find peace, strength, and true meaning. Make prayer your breath, let it flow continually, and you will experience the season of blessing I have prepared. My beloved child, do not forget there is no greater reward than my presence. Many come to me seeking rescue, miracles, provision, or healing. All these are real blessings, and I delight to give them. Yet I want you to know that all blessings are but a taste of a greater reality, myself, as the ultimate good. If you possess everything but not me, you will still feel empty. But if you have me, even with nothing else, you are full, for I am all you need. Remember Moses leading Israel through the wilderness. After the people sinned with the golden calf, I said I would send an angel to guide them into the promised land, but I would not go with them because of their hardness of heart. Moses replied, "If your presence does not go with us, do not lead us up from here." Exodus 3:3-1-5. He recognized that a land of milk and honey meant nothing without my presence. It is my presence that secures safety and grants rest. Because of Moses' longing, I promised, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Imagine the promise keeper himself accompanying you. That is more than any inheritance. My child, think of Mary and Martha. When Jesus entered their house, Martha was busy with many tasks, while Mary chose to sit at his feet and listen to his words. Martha was preoccupied, believing that serving was necessary, but Jesus said, "Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Luke 1:0-42. You see, the better portion is not activity, not achievement, but presence. The simple act of sitting near him, hearing his voice, being held in his embrace. That is the treasure that can never be lost. This world constantly tells you that happiness comes from what you own, from the places you go, from the people you know. But I want you to know that true happiness does not come from the outside. It flows from my presence within you. When you have me, you will find peace in the storm, joy in the midst of lack, and hope in the face of trials. When you have me, you will discover that even when you possess nothing, you still hold everything. As David sang, "The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot." Psalm 1:6-5. Often you chase after miracles, forgetting that the one who performs miracles is right beside you. You ask for blessings, forgetting that the giver of blessings is waiting for you. I do not only long to give you gifts, I long to give you myself. For everything I bestow has its limit, but I am without limit. Miracles may cease, possessions may vanish, health may wither, but my presence endures forever and will never depart from you. If you learn to seek me, you will discover the fountain of life that never runs dry. My child, my presence does not only bring satisfaction, it is also the light that leads you. In the wilderness I went before Israel with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. When the cloud stopped, they stopped. When it lifted, they moved. Do you see? They needed no map, no calculations, only to follow my presence. In the same way, you do not need to know every detail of the plan. You only need to know that I am walking with you. When you have my presence, you hold a guidance more secure than any map devised by men. My presence is also the resting place for your soul. Amid busyness, burdens, and exhaustion, you can find tranquility in me. I do not promise that you will never face hardship, but I promise that I will be there in the hardship. My presence brings strength to endure, hope to press forward, and joy to sing even in trial. As Psalm 23 declares, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. My presence is your greatest assurance. I call you to desire my presence above all else. Do not set your life's goal merely on success, wealth, or safety. Those things may come and go, but my presence is the eternal treasure. Do not seek me only for what I can give, but seek me because of who I am. When you choose the better portion, which is me, then no one and nothing can take it away from you. I want you to become one who treasures presence above all. Spend time with me, not to ask, but simply to be with me. Find a quiet place, sit in stillness, and let your heart listen. Worship not for blessings, but because I am worthy of worship. Let your joy be rooted not in outcomes, but in the living relationship with me. When you learn this secret, you will step into true freedom, no longer anxious in loss, no longer hopeless in trial, for you always hold the greatest reward, my eternal presence. Therefore, choose me as your portion. Let my presence become the treasure you seek each day. And I promise, when you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. Jeremiah 2:9-13. When you have me, you have all. My beloved child, I want you to understand an unchanging principle: all true transformation begins within. The world often teaches you that if only you change your circumstances, your environment, then life will be better. But my child, if the inner man is not renewed, then no matter where you go, you will carry with you invisible chains. A bitter soul will find bitterness everywhere. A fearful heart will discover fear in every situation. But when I renew your spirit, when your heart is healed and filled with light, then the whole world around you will be illuminated. Remember what I said through Paul: do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 1:2-2. Renewal is not a coat of paint on the surface. It is transformation from the root within. A tree can only bear good fruit if its roots are strong. In the same way, your life can only produce holy fruit when your heart is renewed by the Spirit. Consider Saul, who once persecuted the church, passionately hunting down those who believed in me. His heart was filled with rage, bitterness, and violence. But when the light from heaven shone upon him on the road to Damascus, he was transformed. From an enemy of the church, he became the Apostle Paul, preaching the gospel everywhere and writing letters that reshaped history. Do you see? True change did not come from a shift in status or occupation, but from a change within the heart when he encountered me. Look also at David. He was only a young shepherd boy, unnoticed, even despised by his brothers. Yet I chose him, and when I placed my spirit upon him, his heart was transformed. From one who played the harp to drive away Saul's gloom, he became a warrior who struck down Goliath and later the king after my own heart. The difference was not in outward strength, but in a heart renewed from within. Peter, too, was once the man who trembled and denied Christ 3 times, but after being restored and filled with the Spirit, he became the one who boldly stood before the crowd to proclaim Christ. Do you see inner renewal transformed not only his words and actions, but also his destiny? I know there are times when you wish you could change your environment. If only I had a different job. If only I lived in another city. If only I had other relationships. But my child, you may change places, jobs, or friends. Yet if your heart remains the same, you will repeat the same cycle. True renewal does not begin on the outside, but with my touch deep within. When I cleanse your bitterness, heal your wounds, remove your shame, and fill you with love, then you will see the world with different eyes. And then what is outside will also begin to change, for the light within you will shine outward. My child, inner renewal leads to outward transformation in 3 ways. First, it transforms your words. When the heart is filled with bitterness, your speech will be sharp with thorns. But when the heart overflows with love, your words will become streams of refreshment. I want your words to be seasoned with grace, strengthening those who hear. Second, inner renewal transforms your actions. A healed heart no longer responds with violence or resentment, but with forgiveness and kindness. You will marvel when you find yourself able to do what once seemed impossible: to forgive those who hurt you, to pray for those who betrayed you, to love even your enemies. This is not your strength, but the evidence of renewal from within. Third, inner renewal transforms the very atmosphere around you. When your spirit is filled with peace, your home becomes a place of rest. When your heart abounds with hope, others will feel uplifted in your presence. When you live in love, the community you touch will also be transformed. A lamp that is lit does not shine only for itself, but for the entire room. I know you may feel you lack the strength to change yourself. And indeed you cannot, but I can. My Spirit is the one who renews your mind, transforms your heart, and conforms you to my image. You only need to open your heart, surrender, and allow me to work. The process may not be swift, but it is certain. Like a seed growing into a tree, renewal within you is quiet but enduring. One day you will look back and realize you are no longer the same. You are not the old self, but a new creation in me. Do not try to change the outside first. Do not polish the picture on the surface while the inside remains decayed. Let me renew your spirit, and the outward transformation will follow naturally. When you let me reign in your heart, I will change your words, your actions, your relationships, and even your future. And your transformed life will become a living testimony, drawing many to see my power. I call you to come to me, to lay before me your wounds, your old habits, your fears that have held you captive. Let me cleanse, renew, and fill you. Then you will see your life changed visibly, not because of your effort, but because I have worked at the root, and you will become a new vessel carrying love and light to those around you. My beloved child, everything you go through, joys and sorrows, failures and victories, all are part of my training. No tear is wasted, no trial is meaningless, and not a single day is without purpose. I am using it all to prepare you for a mission far greater than you have imagined. That mission does not revolve around you alone. It will touch your community, your generation, even people you have never met. Remember Joseph. That young dreamer, once merely a boy boasting of visions, was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, then imprisoned under false accusation. Yet every event became a lesson no school could teach: patience, stewardship, wisdom, and mercy. Without the pit, Joseph would not learn to stand firm. Without the prison, he would not learn to keep his heart pure. Without betrayal, he would not learn to forgive. And when the appointed time came, he was ready to become governor, saving a nation. My child, I am writing such a story for you as well. Think of Moses. He was raised in the palace, but I led him into the desert for 40 years to shepherd sheep. In the eyes of man it was failure and waste. In my eyes it was preparation. The wilderness taught him patience, taught him to lead a flock, an image of the nation he would later guide out of Egypt. In the wilderness he learned to listen, to live humbly, to depend fully on me. That is why when I called him from the burning bush, he was no longer the hot-tempered young man who was killed, but a seasoned man ready for a great mission. Remember Esther. She never thought that becoming queen had anything to do with my plan. Yet I placed her in the right position at the right time to be the voice that saved her people from destruction. When Mordecai said, "Who knows if perhaps you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this," Esther 4:1-4, he revealed this truth: "I always prepare you for a pivotal moment, even when you do not yet see it." Even my only son, the Lord Jesus, before beginning his public ministry, lived 30 years in the quiet of Nazareth. He worked as a carpenter, shared a simple life with his family, and experienced the full range of human ups and downs. And before he began to preach, he spent 40 days in the wilderness, enduring every temptation. Not a single moment was wasted, for all of it was preparation so that he might fulfill the mission of redeeming humankind. Do you see, greatness never comes from shortcuts. It comes from a long, often painful process of refinement, but one filled with meaning. You may feel now that you are only doing small, repetitive tasks that nobody notices. You may think you are forgotten, but my child, those very things are deepening the foundation. A tall house needs a firm foundation, and I am laying the foundation for your mission. When you are faithful in small things, I will entrust you with greater things. When you keep a right heart in private, I will use you in public. When you persevere in the season of sowing, you will reap in the harvest season. I want you to understand that this preparation is not only for you, but also for those who will receive blessings through you. Think of those who are waiting to hear encouragement from you, those who will be healed through your prayers, the generations that will be shaped by your faithfulness. You cannot see the whole picture, but I see it all. That is why I never rush. I love you too much to place you where you are not yet ready. Do not despise dry seasons or periods of waiting. They are not emptiness, but the furnace of refinement. In the furnace I remove pride, fear, and self-reliance, and replace them with humility, trust, and steadfast faith. In quiet seasons you learn to hear my voice more clearly because there are no louder competing noises. In days that seem meaningless, I am sowing into your heart lessons that will become weapons for the day you step into your great mission. The mission I have for you is not to bring you glory, but to bring glory to my name. That is why I train you in obscurity, so that when you step into the public sphere, you will not seek honor for yourself. That is why I lead you through lack, so you learn that your supply comes only from me. That is why I allow you to taste loneliness, so you learn that my presence is enough. And that is why I permit you to face failure, so you know that my power is perfected in weakness. Do not hastily seek shortcuts nor become discouraged when results are not yet visible. Be faithful in each small step, for every step moves you closer to your destiny. Believe that I, he who began the good work in you, will also complete it. When the time comes, no power can stop it. A door I open, no one can close, and a door I close, no one can open. My child, you are being prepared for a mission far larger than what you currently see. You are placed to be a light, a voice, a river of living water to a thirsty world. You will discover that the years you thought wasted are the bricks that build the firm foundation for the day I send you. And on that day you will realize that every pain, every trial, every period of waiting was worth it, for they brought you to your eternal calling. My beloved child, I have called you not only to receive grace, but to become a living witness of that grace in a broken world. Grace is not a gift to be hoarded, but a cool, refreshing stream poured out to soothe thirsty souls. When I give you forgiveness, healing, and freedom, it is so that your life becomes a compelling testimony that I am a merciful God who turns brokenness into beauty, weakness into strength, and darkness into light. Remember the sinful woman in the city who came to Jesus' feet with an expensive jar of perfume, her tears flowing as she washed his feet with her hair. The world despised her, but he said, "Her many sins have been forgiven, for she loved much." Luke 7:47. Grace transformed one who was scorned into a witness of love. So it is with you. The deepest places of shame, when touched by grace, will become the brightest lamps. One who is forgiven much will love much, and that love is irrefutable evidence. Do not think that witnessing means you must be perfect. The world does not need a flawless model. It needs a real person who has stumbled and risen, who was weak but is now strong by grace. Remember Peter, who trembled and denied the Lord 3 times, but after restoration became a bold witness, standing before the crowds to proclaim Christ. It was his broken past that made his testimony authentic. Likewise, when you do not hide your scars but let them shine, they will testify to healing. Look at Paul. He did not hide his former persecution of the church. He frequently recalled it to highlight the mercy that changed him. He wrote, "Formerly I was a blasphemer, persecutor, and insolent opponent, but I received mercy." 1 Timothy 1:1-3. The stark contrast between past and present amplifies his witness everywhere. Do not fear your past. Let grace cover it. When you courageously tell your story, you do not exalt the fault, but you glorify the one who rescued you. Living as a witness of grace also means letting grace flow through the way you treat others. The world is quick to judge, but you are called to show mercy. People easily remember offenses, yet you are called to forgive. People often act selfishly, but you are called to be generous. When you choose to forgive those who have harmed you, you demonstrate a love beyond human capacity. When you are patient with the difficult, you reflect my mercy. When you intercede for the weak, you show that grace still has power to save. Many suppose that witnessing requires eloquent speech, deep knowledge, or special talent. But I tell you, the most powerful testimony is a transformed life. One may argue theory, but no one can deny the truth seen in a changed person. When neighbors witness your unconditional love, when colleagues see your peace amid stress, when family observes your persistence in prayer, these are living testimonies that require little explanation. Remember, you are not the source of light, but a mirror that reflects it. Like the moon, which has no light of its own but reflects the sun, you reflect my light. People do not need to see perfection in you, but they will see my light through you. They will see that my grace is sufficient for you, that my love covers every weakness, and that my power can turn the worst into good. Let your life become a letter of grace, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, 2 Corinthians 3:3. Others will read that letter through how you live, how you forgive, how you hope. They will glimpse patience when you endure trials, joy when you offer thanksgiving, and peace when you walk in faith. All these are living words that engrave grace upon hearts. Child witnessing is not something you choose occasionally. It is a daily way of life. In church, at home, at work, on the street, wherever you go, you are a witness. People watch how you speak, how you respond, how you face difficulty, and it is precisely in ordinary situations that you can make a difference. Let that difference arise not from your strength, but from grace. Let every small act, a smile, an encouraging word, a helping hand, be proof of eternal love. I know you are not always strong. There will be times you are weak, fall, and think you are no longer worthy to testify. But my child, it is precisely in that weakness that grace is most clearly displayed. When you rise after failure, others will see that you did not get up by your own strength, but by my grace. When you continue on despite tears, they will know I am leading you. That authenticity, not perfection, gives your testimony power. Be brave to live as a witness of grace. Do not hide your light under a bushel. Put it on a lampstand to illuminate for others. Matthew 5:1-5. Do not let the past hold you back. Turn it into proof of forgiveness. Do not fear weakness, but let it be the place where my power is perfected. Let your whole life, every word, every deed, every breath, be a song of praise to boundless grace. When you live as a witness of grace, you not only influence those around you, but leave a mark for generations to come. People will tell your story, speak of the change in you, and be encouraged to seek the source of grace. Your life will become an undying hymn, a song that continually declares the mercy of the one who loved you with everlasting love. My beloved child, your life is not written only for yourself. Every choice, every step, every prayer you make is sowing seeds for the next generations. You may think your influence is small and confined to family, but I say what you live today will become a spiritual inheritance passed down through many lives. It is not fleeting material wealth, but an invaluable legacy, a foundation of faith, a living testimony, a light for the generations who will follow. Remember Abraham. When he believed and walked in obedience, he did not know he was opening a way for an entire nation. His faith did not only bless him, but would bless descendants as numerous as the stars and the sand. Later generations still call him the father of faith. See, a faithful decision today can become a beacon for countless generations tomorrow. Consider Joshua. After Israel crossed the Jordan, he set up 12 stones as a memorial and said, "When your children ask in time to come, 'What do these stones mean?' you shall tell them that the Lord dried up the Jordan before the people of Israel." Joshua 4:6-7. I want you to leave similar spiritual memorial stones, marks of faith prayers, and lived lessons, so that future generations, seeing them, will be reminded that I am faithful. Think of Timothy, a young man I used mightily in the early church. His faith was not innate, but cultivated by the quiet devotion of his grandmother Lois and his mother Eunice. I used those two faithful women to sow seeds in him that later shaped a mighty leader. Child, you cannot know how many generations your prayers today will touch. A single intercession may become a spiritual wall of protection around your descendants. A faithful example can become a guiding light for grandchildren yet unborn. My beloved, the world often values leaving behind wealth, reputation, and status, but I tell you, all those things will fade. Wealth can be lost, reputation can be forgotten, status can change, yet a spiritual legacy endures. A prayer uttered in act of love, a faithful heart, these things do not vanish. They are imprinted on memory, on the soul, and in the history of heaven. When you leave a spiritual legacy, you hand down to the next generation an eternal treasure that draws them closer to me. You may ask yourself, what must I do to build that legacy? I say to you, begin with small things. Be faithful in praying for your children and grandchildren. Tell them of my faithfulness in your life. Let them see your example when you forgive, when you trust, when you obey. Do not worry if your words are not eloquent. Your life itself will be the living scripture they read each day. The enemy always seeks to destroy a spiritual legacy. It wants parents so busy they do not teach their children. It wants grandparents discouraged so they stop praying. It wants the older generation to forget the responsibility of passing on faith. But child, I have placed you as a watchman to build a protective fence around the next generation through intercession and by shining example. Stand firm, for your faithfulness today is the shelter for your descendants tomorrow. I know that sometimes you do not see immediate results. You pray for your family and nothing seems to change. You plant words of instruction and they do not obey. You set an example and are ignored. Yet, child, a seed does not sprout in a single day. It needs time, water, and light. Likewise, the seed of faith you sow today will grow in the time I appoint. Do not be discouraged. for I am the one who causes the seed to sprout. Therefore be faithful in leaving a spiritual legacy. Live as Abraham did, trusting and obedient, so that your children may be blessed. Set up stones of remembrance. As Joshua did, so future generations know that I am faithful. Sow seeds of faith like those of Lot and Eunice, that your descendants may stand firm in truth. And remember that your life, with its healed wounds and victories by grace, is the most precious gift you can leave. Look beyond yourself. Think of the generations who will walk after you. Let them inherit not only your blood, but also the flow of spiritual life. Let them look upon your life and say, "Our ancestors were faithful to God, so today we enjoy blessing." That is the true legacy, an imperishable inheritance recorded in heaven. Live with the awareness that each day you write a story for future generations. Write it with faith, with love, with fidelity. And I promise what you sow today will bloom in the lives of your children and grandchildren, and that blessing will ripple through many generations. That is the eternal spiritual legacy I have called you to leave. My beloved child, I have prepared you in the quiet, in the seasons of hardship, and through trials that seemed meaningless. Now I say to you, you are ready to walk in a new strength, to live fully in the calling I have placed on your life. Do not think that all you have endured was in vain. Every tear you have shed, every time you fell and rose again, every quiet prayer in the night, these have become bricks in the foundation for today. I have prepared you not to live for yourself alone, but to be an instrument in a great work. Think of Joshua. He was once a faithful aide to Moses, observing and learning. Yet when the time came, I entrusted him with the responsibility to lead an entire people into the promised land. He trembled, but I said, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go," Joshua 1:9. So it is with you, child. You may feel inadequate, but I tell you that it is precisely in your weakness that my strength is fully revealed. Consider Peter. He once denied me before a servant girl, yet after being filled with the Holy Spirit, he stood up to preach, and 3,000 were saved in one day. You see, transformation does not come from human effort, but from the power of the Spirit. When I pour out my Spirit upon you, you will say what you once could not say, and do what you once could not do. You will walk boldly, not because you are strong, but because I am within you. Paul's life is also a testament from persecutor of the church to apostle to the Gentiles. He endured beatings, imprisonment, contempt, yet he preached the gospel everywhere. He wrote, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," Philippians 4:1-3. Grace turned an enemy into a builder. You see, true strength is not from credentials or ability, but from my presence. I know you often look at your limits, your past, your mistakes, your weaknesses, your shortcomings. But I say, do not let those things define you. I did not choose you because you are perfect, but to demonstrate that my grace is sufficient for you. It is in your weakness that my power will be displayed. I have placed within you a new strength, the power to conquer fear, to break chains, and to walk in freedom. Walking in this new calling means you will no longer live for yourself, but for the purpose I have set. It may demand sacrifice. It may require you to give up comfort. It may lead you into unfamiliar places. But child, it is there that you will experience true blessing. As I said, whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Matthew 1:6-5. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you step out, the more abundant life you will know. Remember, I do not call you to go alone. I go before you to make a way beside you, to accompany you, and behind you to protect you. As the pillar of cloud and fire led Israel in the wilderness, my presence will guide you through every path. Do not worry about what lies ahead. Trust that I am with you. When you are weak, I am your strength. When you are confused, I am your wisdom. When you are weary, I am your life. I know that walking in a new calling will not be easy. You will face opposition, be misunderstood, even opposed. But do not be afraid, for I have given you spiritual armor, my word as your sword, faith as your shield, righteousness as your breastplate, and the gospel as your footwear. With these I have equipped you to stand and to overcome. I have called you, and I will safeguard you. I have begun the work, I will bring it to completion. The time has come for you to rise and to step into the destiny appointed for you. Do not look back at the past. Do not allow fear to hold you. Do not let the enemy's lies hinder you. Rise up and walk in the new strength, for I, Almighty, am with you. As you step out, you will see heaven's doors open, blessings poured out, and my name magnified through your life. My beloved child, I know you long for a life without hardship, without pain, without tears. But if life were smooth and easy, how would your faith grow? It is through trials that you learn to trust me. In adversity, you find that I am a sure refuge. Faith is not proved under bright sunshine, but in deep darkness. Not when seas are calm, but when storms rise. Remember Abraham, whom I tested by calling him to offer Isaac his only son and the fulfillment of a promise. He could have resisted or questioned, yet he walked up Mount Moriah in faith that I would provide. Indeed, I provided a ram as a substitute. See, genuine faith is not believing only when things are clear, but trusting even when you do not understand. I turned that test into a testimony for all humanity, that faith is rewarded. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who refused to worship idols and were thrown into a blazing furnace. They told King Nebuchadnezzar, "Our God is able to deliver us, but even if he does not, we will not serve your gods." Daniel 3:1, 7:18. That is steadfast faith, no bargaining, no conditions. I stood with them in the fire, and they came out unharmed. See how the trial became an opportunity for my presence to be revealed. Remember Daniel in the lion's den. Falsely accused and thrown into the most dangerous place, I sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths. When morning came, King Darius was astonished to find Daniel alive, and the whole kingdom heard of me. Child, sometimes I do not prevent you from entering trials, but I am with you in them, so that those circumstances become a powerful testimony. You have often asked, "Why do you let me go through this?" I want you to believe that every trial has a purpose. I use it to refine you like gold in fire, to remove dross, so that your faith becomes pure. The world sees failure, I see refinement. The world sees burden, I see an opportunity for faith to grow. When you trust me amid trials, you will experience a peace that surpasses understanding. While others panic, you will keep calm. While others mourn, you will praise. While others doubt, you will stand firm. That difference will make others recognize that you have an unshakable foundation. They will see that you do not rely on human wisdom, but on the Eternal One. Do not forget, trials do not come to destroy you, but to elevate you. Like a tree battered by wind whose roots grow deeper, you will become stronger after each storm. Like steel tempered in fire, your faith must pass through fire to become resilient. Do not fear the fire. I am with you in it. Do not fear the storm. I am in the boat with you. Do not fear the darkness. I am the light that leads you. Do not misunderstand. Trusting me does not mean you will always understand everything. There will be moments of silence, and you may not see answers. Yet my silence is not absence. It is an invitation to deeper trust, to place faith not in circumstances, but in the one who holds them. When you do not understand, hold my hand. When you cannot see the way, walk by the light of my word. When you are weak, let me lift you. Child, the enemy would use trials to discourage you, but I use them to strengthen you. The enemy wants you to doubt. I want you to go deeper in trust. The enemy wants you to give up. I want you to persevere. And I promise he who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 2:4-1-3. Do not flee from trials, face them with faith. Do not rely on your own understanding. Recognize me in every path. Do not fear the dark, for my light shines within you. And never forget you are never alone. I am with you in the fire, the storm, the lion's den, and the wilderness. When you trust me through trials, you will see miracles not only in outcomes, but in the process. You will watch me turn your tears into seeds, your wounds into testimonies, your burdens into glory. You will look back and say, had it not been for the Lord, I could not have endured. That will become a song of praise echoing through generations. My beloved child, true victory does not come from your strength weapons or human strategies, but from my presence. When I am with you, you will win even in weakness. When I go before you, every stronghold will fall. When I stand beside you, no enemy can stand. Your strength may be limited, but my presence is limitless. I am the assurance of every victory you need. Remember Joshua and the people before Jericho. Those massive walls seemed impenetrable by any weapon, but I did not command them to fight with swords. I told them to march around the city for 7 days, blow trumpets and shout. When they obeyed, the walls fell. See, victory does not always come by human means, but when you submit so that I may reveal my power, sometimes I do not want you to depend on plans or tactics, but simply to obey, allowing me to display my might. Think of David facing Goliath. The whole army trembled before the giant, yet the small shepherd boy needed only a single stone and a sling. He did not trust in his own skill, but in my presence. You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts. 1 Samuel 1:7-4-5. And in an instant the giant fell. Do you see, victory does not depend on the size of the enemy, but on the one who goes with you. Remember King Jehoshaphat when he confronted an overwhelmingly vast army. He and the people were powerless to resist, yet he cried out to me. I said, this battle is not yours, but God's. 2 Chronicles 2:0-1-5. When they began to praise, I caused the enemy to be thrown into confusion and turned them against one another. You see, sometimes victory does not come from your exertion, but from your praise and allowing me to act. Likewise, in your life, there will be battles beyond your capacity. You will face Jericho walls problems that seem impossible to breach. You will meet Goliath's giant fears and crushing pressures. You will confront vast armies, circumstances so overwhelming they render you helpless. But child, do not be afraid, for I am with you, and where I am present, victory is certain. Child, victory through my presence is not always what the world defines as winning. Sometimes you think victory means immediately vanquishing the enemy, but I want to teach you that true victory is keeping peace amid the storm, keeping joy amid lack, keeping faith amid trials. Triumph is not merely overcoming hardship, but refusing to let hardship steal my presence from you. When you continue to praise, to pray, to trust in the midst of adversity that already is victory, my presence is also your fortress. The enemy may scheme, sow fear, even use others against you. But if I am with you, every plot fails. As Psalm 91 records, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Abide in my presence, and you will be safe. Let that presence cover your mind, and anxiety will find no place. Victory by my presence also makes you a witness to the world. When others see you steadfast amid difficulty, they will ask your secret. When they see you praise in pain, they will be amazed. When they see you forgive rather than retaliate, they will long for that source of strength. You will have the opportunity to say, "It is not I but God who is with me." Thus I use your victories to draw many to me. Do not think you must always fight in your own strength. The greatest battle has already been won by me on the cross. Satan, sin, and death all have been defeated. You only need to stand firm in that victory. Do not let the enemy deceive you into believing it still has power. It has been exposed as a defeated foe. When you live in my presence, you live in the realm of eternal victory. Therefore, learn to live in that presence daily. Do not merely seek victory, for when you have me, you have victory. Do not fear. The walls do not tremble before the giant. Do not panic at the sight of the army. Remember that I go before you, and my presence is the guarantee that you will not fail. My beloved, rise with trust, walk with boldness, and praise me, even before you see the outcome, for I have promised, and my promise never fails. My presence with you is your strength, your shield, the guarantee of your future. As you live in this truth, you will see your life become a song of triumph, not because you are great, but because I, the Almighty, am always with you. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please hit subscribe and turn on notifications so together we may receive the living words, build a steadfast faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.